This video shows you how to set up your thermostat timer, as well as how to regulate or maintain your heating's temperature. A thermostat basically is an electronic device that automatically regulates or maintains temperature. The modus operandi of a thermostat essentially entails it detecting temperature changes for the purpose of keeping or maintaining the temperature of an enclosed area constant. So typically, a thermostat would generate electrical signals when the temperature exceeds or falls below a certain desired value. Here we've got the TP5000SI or SI range. Electronic 5 to 2 day programmable room thermostat. This programmable room thermostat is both a programmer and a room thermostat. A programmer essentially allows you to set on and off time periods to suit your lifestyle, whilst a room thermostat works by sensing the air temperature, switching on the heating when the air falls below the thermostat setting, and switching it off once this set temperature has been reached. So essentially, it lets you choose what times you want the heating to be on and what temperature it should reach while it is on, thus enabling you to select different temperatures in your home at different times of the day, as well as days of the week to meet your bespoke needs. Please note that turning your thermostat to a higher setting will not make your room heat up any faster, as the rate at which your room or how quickly your room heats up depends on the design of the heating system, variables like the size of your boiler and radiator. And in the same breath or token, the setting doesn't affect how quickly your room cools down. So basically, when you program your thermostat to a lower setting, it will result in the room being controlled at a lower temperature, and as a result giving you savings on energy. Your TP5000SI comes ready programmed with a set of operating times and temperatures which suits most people. However, it still allows you to program different temperatures at different time periods. It's got an inherent feature that allows you to program one set of times and temperatures for weekdays with a different set of temperatures for weekend days. This is referred to as the 5 to 2 day operation. You can also set your thermostat to provide one set of times and temperatures that are repeated each day of the week. This is referred to as the 24-hour operation. And lastly, the thermostat can be set to provide two different programming blocks, which can then be assigned to any day of the week. This is referred to as the A to B program operation. Now that we understand how the TP4000, the 5000SI, the 5000, the 5001 plus RF works, we can proceed to set up the heating and time in real time. But first, let's take cognizance, of setting diagrams, when we undo the flap of the thermostat. Straight away, you can see fingers on, different buttons on the thermostat. Pressing down them two buttons there simultaneously enables the frost position. And you can also use the same up and down button to set your time and temperature readings, as exemplified in them diagrams. And, pressing the plus and minus button, simultaneously here enables you to get real-time temperature readings in relation to the target temperature. And you can also use the plus or minus button to increase or decrease your time and temperature readings. Before you start, open the flap on the front of the programmer and press the reset button with a metallic object until the display clock goes blank. This will ensure that the microcomputer in the product is operating correctly. The display setting uses a 24-hour clock. The temperature uses degrees centigrade, and for the days of the week it utilizes a text format. The thermostat incorporates a real-time clock with calendar function that automatically changes in both spring and autumn. This factory set time does not usually require adjustment, but in order to set the date and the correct time, hold the up and the program button for about 3 seconds. To display the date in the day, month and year format, the year number will flash. Use the up and down button to correct the year, and also use the plus or minus button to move to month, and then use the up and down button to correct the month. So I'm using the up and down button here to correct the year. It could be 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, but I'll select the year 2021. So subsequently, I will use the minus or plus button to move to the date in the month, then use the up and down button to correct the day in the month. We've got 31 days in the calendar month, so I'll select the 28th of the month, okay? Then use the plus or minus button to select the month, so I'll choose the month of November, which is the 11th, by pressing on the up and down button. Use your plus or minus button to move through the day, the month and the year. If you attempt to select an invalid date, the unit software will reject it and apply the nearest valid date. After setting the date, press the program to display the time. The time display will flash on and off. So use the plus and minus buttons to set the correct time. If you want, the hour or the minutes button to move in increments of 10, press the plus or the minus button down so you can see it's moving in increments of 10. But when you tap the button once and release your hand, it moves in increments of 1. Just tap on the button, once or discreetly as opposed to holding your hands down, and you can see it's moving upwards or downwards in increments of 1. So it doesn't matter if I try to set the correct time on Tuesday or on Sunday. The day of the week is set automatically. So when you're done, setting your time, press the program button to return to the normal operation run. And here you can see the time, the day of the week and the target temperature, which is 19 degrees. In changing the preset programs, we've got firstly a 5 to 2 day, one set of programs for weekdays and another for the weekends. We've also got a 24-hour, one set of programs for the whole of the week. And lastly, we've got an A to B program operation that provides two different programming blocks. And so on the synoptic screen of the thermostat, we've got the time, the day and the target temperature that we would like to achieve, which is 15 degrees. To change the time, we would use the plus or minus button, and to change the temperature, we would press down the up or down button. Changing the preset programs in a 5 to 2 day mode means that we'll be having one set of programs for weekdays and another for weekends. For weekdays, press program until the first preset time and temperature appears in the display. To alter the display to either show time or temperature, press the plus and minus button together simultaneously. 19.5 indicates the actual room temperature, whilst 22 degrees indicates the target temperature. Press the minus and plus button to revert back to the time and temperature display. So when you press the program button, event 1 and the days Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday appears in the display. Then subsequently use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the time. Pretty much press and hold to change in 10 minutes increments if you want. The up and down buttons to adjust the required temperature, and then subsequently press the program button to move to the next preset time and temperature, which is events 2. So basically we're going to repeat this process for the remaining weekday events. 4 events, which includes on and off periods for the heating between Monday to Friday. And like I said, use the plus and minus button to adjust the time and the up and down button to adjust the temperature. So here we're saying that the heating comes on at 4:45 a.m. During weekdays, and that the target temperature is 22 degrees, okay? So once done, repeat the same process, press the program button and it moves to event 2. This is the second event during the weekday, and we're saying that we want the heating to come off at 7 a.m. We do not want the heating to drop below 19 degrees centigrade. So event 2 is the off period. We repeat the process by pressing the program button and it takes us to events 3. Events 3 is the on period, and we are saying that at 4:45 p.m. we want the heating to come on and that the target temperature or the upper limit temperature threshold value is 22 degrees centigrade. You can adjust it accordingly to your desired temperature, and once done, press the program button to move to events 4, which is your off period. Events 4 for the weekday connotes that at 7:15 p.m. the heating comes off, but it should not drop anywhere below 19 degrees. So this is the lower limit threshold value, okay? If it drops below 19 degrees, the heating comes on to get to the lower threshold value that we've set for the off period. Now that we've got, 4 events, fully set up between Mondays to Friday, we press the program button to set 4 building block program events for Saturday and Sunday. So events flashing 1 for the weekend connotes that at 5:45 a.m. we're setting the target temperature to be 22 degrees centigrade, and that's when we want the heating to come on. We press the program button, and we're setting the off period. And we're saying that we do not want the heating to drop below 19 degrees. If it does, the heating comes on, but this is the off period. Adjust the temperature and time readings if you so desire using the up and down buttons and the minus and plus buttons. So here we are definitive. We're saying that we want the heating to come off at 8 a.m. and it shouldn't drop below the lower threshold value of 19 degrees centigrade. And if it does, the heating turns up to maintain that lower threshold value, which is 19 degrees. And once we're satisfied with the programming, we press the program button to move to the third event for the weekend, which indicates that the heating comes on at 4:45 p.m. and that the target upper threshold value that we're aiming for is 22 degrees centigrade. Then next we press the program button to reflect the 4th event for the weekend. And so here we're saying that we want the heating to come off at 7:30 p.m. and it should not drop below 19 degrees. If it does, the heating calibrates or regulates itself to achieve the 19 degrees lower threshold value. And then we press the program button to reveal the current time and target temperature readings for the weekend, which is correct because remember that we said for the weekend we wanted the heating to come on at 5:45 a.m. and come off at 8 a.m. and that the target temperature was 22 degrees, and when it turns off we wanted the lower threshold value to be 19 degrees. Or we didn't want the heating to drop below 19 degrees, so it is correct. So if you press the up and down button here, a frost protection symbol or snowflake in a shield will appear in the display when the selected temperature is equal to or less than the programmed frost protection setting. Suffice to say, equal to or lower than 5 degrees, which is the default setting when you get in the thermostat mode, but as you increase the temperature values, the frost protection symbol or the snowflake shield disappears, and that's because it's greater than 5 degrees, okay? You can select a constant temperature of between 5 to 30 degrees if required, which provides frost protection for periods away from home or untimed higher temperatures, for a sick family member's use. Press the up and down button subsequently to return to the automatic programming. Like I said previously, pressing the minus and plus button reveals that the actual room temperature is about 20 degrees centigrade and that it's nowhere near the target temperature of 22 degrees centigrade. That means the heating is still heating up, okay, to reach about 22 degrees centigrade at 4:47 a.m. To change day of the week legends from numbers to text, press the up and the minus together simultaneously to toggle between day numbers and text, and then subsequently to toggle between the 12 and the 24-hour clock. Press the up button and the plus button together or simultaneously, okay? And you can see it switches between the 12 and the 24-hour format. And lastly, if you want to toggle between the centigrade and the Fahrenheit temperature scaling, press the down button and the minus button simultaneously together to toggle between the centigrade and the Fahrenheit temperature scaling. So typically 59 would be the Fahrenheit and 15 would be the centigrade setting. Basically, just a quick recap, we've gone through the 5 to 2 day operation, which is for your weekdays and weekend. The 24-hour operation is quite similar to the 5 to 2, but the primary difference is that you've got one set of times and temperatures that are repeated each day of the week. As a given, all thermostats can be set up to provide 2, 4 or 6 times and temperature settings each day. You can also set up, your thermostat to provide you 2 different programming blocks which can be assigned to any day of the week, and this is called the A to B program operation. Say for example 6 events on and off from Monday to Friday, and 6 events for the weekends, for Saturday and Sunday. If you set up only 4 events per day, events 3 and 4 are skipped, and if you set up 2 events per day, events 2, 3, 4 and 5 are skipped. In both cases the events are renumbered. For block A and block B programs, and essentially to program both the A and B program modules, you need to press and hold the program and the down button for 3 seconds, which pretty much takes you to the user advanced programming option 1. To use the up and the down keys to enable or disable, the function 0 or 1. And subsequently use the plus or minus button and the up and down button to adjust your thermostats feature, but I'm only sparingly covering this here. I will cover it in depth in a subsequent video, and that's about it really. If you found the information here useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share, helps the channel grow, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye.